This letter is the full account of every event in which we have been concerned. Good day. Miss Bennet, be assured that you are safe from any more offers, which would be certain to embarrass us both. The entire episode of last night cannot be too soon forgotten. However, you have left several charges at my feet that cannot go unanswered. In the case of my friend and your sister,
Miss Jane Bennet is the most beautiful girl I have ever seen.
your sister is a most charming young lady, and it was inevitable that my friend should prefer her over any other lady in Hertfordshire. I felt no great concern until the occasion upon which I had the very great honour of dancing with you, when Sir William Lucas made it quite clear that Bingley's attentions to your sister had given rise to the general expectation of their marriage.
Oh, what congratulations will then flow in.
It is under this context that I took it upon myself to watch your sister quite closely.
A woman is better off showing more affection than she feels.
While I observed your sister to be agreeably cheerful and engaging, it was my view that she did not return Bingley's sentiments with equal participation.
If Jane is so discreet as to not help Mr. Bingley on, then he may never do more than like her.
Jane's affection for Mr. Bingley equaled his for her in every manner.
I did not see it.
Perhaps you were too blinded by the inferiority of my family's social standing.
I could have put aside the inadequacy of your mother's family, as I was willing to do in my own case, only yesterday.
And think what a promising thing it will be for my younger girls, for James marrying so well will throw them in the way of other wealthy men.
Much harder for me to disregard was the complete want of propriety and social grace betrayed by not only your mother, but also your two younger sisters, and, upon occasion, your father. I considered myself to be in the service to my friend, and determined to preserve him from a union that I thought would bring him considerable trials. May we move on to the more weighty accusation of my having injured Mr. Wickham?
My father's affection and loyalty to the Darcy family led him to dedicate himself exclusively to their affairs.
My father wished to be of assistance to George Wickham. He was as grateful to the late Mr. Wickham for his services to our family as he was taken with the engaging manners of his son. It was my father's intention to provide a legacy of £1,000 to allow George Wickham to pursue a vocation in the church.
But the son straight out refused to honor his father's wishes.
When my father died, Wickham wrote me that he had resolved against a church living, and instead wished to practice law, for which an additional
£3,000
would be required. I acquiesced, but practicing the law was a mere pretense, for in a matter of months, deeply in debt and having gained a reputation for idleness, dissipation, and worse, Wickham again applied to me. He wished to return to his original wishes to be ordained, and requiring yet more funds. Certain that Wickham ought not to be a clergyman, I refused to comply.
Had the father liked me less, the son may have borne me better.
These are quite different from the circumstances related to Bingley. Mr. Wickham.
I am not surprised. I must now relate to you the incident in which I have not related to any other person, and for which I must insist upon a pledge of secrecy. I visited my sister last year at her school. Clearly under considerable strain, I pressed to discover the cause, and when I did, Georgiana revealed to me that she was in love, that she had meant to keep it a secret, that she meant to elope, and with George Wickham. Apparently, Wickham had written her and visited her constantly since I refused his last request. Georgiana's fortune is £30,000. At the time, she was but 15 years old. I was able to convince Georgiana of Wickham's true motivations for pretending to love her. I cannot describe to you the depth of my sister's anguish. I do not believe her yet fully recovered. The next I was ever to see or hear of Mr. Wickham was in your presence. This letter is the faithful narrative of every event in which we have been concerned. If you do not reject it as absolutely false, then I pray you will acquit me of any cruelty toward Mr. Wickham. I know not in what manner or in what form of falsehood he is imposed upon, but his success is not, perhaps, to be wondered at. If your contempt has robbed me of any credit or trust in your eyes, in your heart, then Fitzwilliam may tell you anything more you wish to know. I shall not impose upon you again. God bless.
It's been an age, Charlotte. Yes, well, you have been away to London society. I had thought to hear some of...
Oh, but it was lovely.
And lonely.
Charlotte.
My dear friend, there is loneliness in marriage too.
Charlotte?
But I am content. There is also peace in the solitary.
That is why I returned home.
Missy!
Oh, Jane, you've come from London.
Yes, we can go to Longbourn together. Was that Mr. Darcy just now?
Yes.
Elizabeth, are you all right?
Sorry,
Has Mr. Darcy upset you?
yes, I believe he has. I have always prided myself on my discernment, yet it has taken but one letter from a man I utterly despised to reveal how blind and prejudiced I've been, how despicably I've acted. Till this moment, I never knew myself.
Lizzie. Oh, Jane. Let's go home, dear sister.
Bingley, I have something of import to impart.
Darcy, you sound quite deliberate.
I've been served in education, Bingley. Some parts of the country can be very agreeable. I do have business to address in London, but that is not my main reason for going. And once I say what I have avoided saying for so long, you will wish my departure.
No, Darcy, your speech lacks sense. How could I turn my back on a friend such as you have proved yourself to be?
I've been a deplorable friend, Charles. You have trusted me most unwisely.
Darcy.
Bingley, please, I must say this while I still possess the nerve. Last fall, I conspired with your sister to separate you from Miss Bennet. I did so because I considered you to be my dearest friend, and because I believed at the time that Miss Bennet was indifferent and did not desire your affections. However, that is no excuse for what I have done.
Darcy, am I to understand you kept away Miss Bennet with some sort of deceit? How could you? You, of all people, knowing my affections for the girl. You have consulted your own will and made it mine, without my permission. You have pained me greatly, Darcy. But what is worse, you have wounded Miss Bennet.
You are right to be so upset, Charles. I practiced without reason. My conceit of thinking I knew what was best for you is unforgivable.
And I'm not sure how I shall learn to forgive you, Darcy. But I must take some of the blame in this matter. This much I know, my nature is also changeable. What you did in my name, and I permitted it to happen. I should have gone to Netherfield when I had planned, Darcy. I've known that fact for a long time now. I should have been man enough to seize my own happiness.
You are excellent to offer your absolution. However, I have something more to confess.
Please, continue.
Miss Bennet was in London last winter for nearly 3 months. She stayed with Mr. and Mrs. Gardiner. Miss Bennet sent word to Caroline and even called at the town house. Caroline, with my knowledge, delivered Miss Bennet a direct cut by not returning the visit for many weeks. She led Miss Bennet to believe that you were interested in Georgiana. I knew of your lady's presence in London, yet I told you not. Again, I witnessed you fall in and out of affection so often that I did not judge your regard to be constant. Since then, I have seen that you and Miss Bennet belong together, and I have attempted to turn back
Darcy,
the clock.
you have overextended your influence on my life. It is no wonder Miss Bennet sees me as being a Lothario.
Bingley, if I may be allowed one final judgment, Miss Bennet loves no one but
She
you.
cannot. She must think me a cad, to be indifferent to
There
her.
are few things of which I am absolutely certain, Charles, but the constancy of Miss Bennet's regard for you is one of the few things upon which I would venture a gamble. At Hunsford, Miss Elizabeth reprimanded me quite harshly for my misgivings concerning the girl. Her feelings, her love still rests in you, Charles, if you are willing to ask her.
Ask her, Darcy, ask her what?
Ask her to marry you, Charles. The lady will accept you.
Well, how can you be so certain?
You are too close to observe it. Look in a lady's eyes when you enter the room. Many men would give their life for one such glimpse. The A lady stirs your soul, Charles. With Miss Bennet you may share your innermost self with respect and dignity.
And she will say yes then, Darcy.
Yes, Miss Bennet will say yes, Charles.
And if she says yes, you shall be fully forgiven.
Then I am forgiven. Send me word of your happiness, but pray, write legibly.
I will send you my fate. Now if Miss Bennet does say yes, you will stand up with me, Darcy.
Although I am not deserving of your honest consideration, it would be my honor, Bingley.
Friend.
Friend.